tonight.
This is Wildcast.
Welcome to the late edition of Wildcast. I'm Janice Yu.
And I'm Carol Ann Scott. Thank you for joining us tonight.
The nation was left shocked last week when 2 bombs went off at the Boston Marathon. 3 people were killed and 176 were injured, according to CNN. 4 days later, the state of fear finally ended with the death of 1 suspect and the capture of another. 19-year-old Jahar Tsarnaev and his 26-year-old brother Tamerlan were found by an MIT police officer on Thursday. Suspects shot him and fled campus. They stole a car and escaped to nearby Watertown, where a gunfight ensued, leaving Tamerlan dead and Jahar injured. Police set up a perimeter and checked house by house for hours until Jahar was found hiding under a tarp-covered boat. The investigation has now turned to motive, but the injuries Jahar sustained from being shot in the throat have left him unable to speak. Officials have promised to keep the public updated on any changes to the case as soon as they are able to.
You know, I think a lot of things have happened in the past few days that have brought our nation to its knees, and it's really great to see America stand up and come together. I just hope there's more good times ahead.
Yeah, I know that we were all up. I'm sure the entire nation was up late that night watching and making sure that, police were doing what they could to catch the suspect.
Just glad it's over.
Me too.
The food truck craze that has swept the nation is also being seen in Tucson. Max Efron has the story for Wildcast.
If you've been seeing a lot of interesting looking trucks around town, you're not imagining things. These attractive looking vehicles are food trucks, and they are popping up everywhere. While other small businesses are struggling to stay alive, food trucks are booming.
The mobile food industry is something that's happening, and it's exciting. It's an exciting movement, and the kinds of food that's coming out of these kitchens is amazing.
Aguirre is the owner of a small non-profit arts gallery in Tucson. As part of his mission to keep his gallery alive, he began organizing food truck events.
The food trucks make a donation to my non-profit art gallery. So art grants for the arts have pretty much dried up. So it made us as artists be more innovative. So we stumbled upon the food truck roundup as a concept and have been developing it for the last 15 months.
He says he is a strong believer in small business and that he is doing a service to the community by supporting these family-operated kitchens.
I don't do corporate food trucks. They're all mom and pop organizations. I've had a number of the food truck owners tell me that they would be out of business if I wasn't doing these roundups.
Ray Duke, owner and operator of Kadukes, has been trucking for only a few months now and says if it weren't for Aguirre, he would not be doing nearly as well as he is.
So this provides us a place that we can come to reliably a few times a week and actually do some business.
As far as the business goes, Duke is confident that food on wheels is hitting its stride in Tucson and that it is only going to get better.
A few years ago there was 2 or 3. Now there's 25 really good ones. And there's still, there's another probably 25 more that I don't see because they've got their own gigs and they don't even need to do roundups. And there's another 500 on the way, I'm betting.
Longtime food truck fan Mark Stackera believes food trucks are an ideal way to break into the food service industry.
Anyone that wants to invest in a restaurant, open up their own food business, this is the door.
Reporting from Himmel Park in Tucson for Wildcast, I'm Max Efron.
5 people are dead as the result of an accident on the I-10 late Saturday night. Police say a van was being pursued by Border Patrol at State Route 83 about 40 miles east of Tucson when it flipped. There were 22 people in the van. 15 were taken to hospitals with minor to serious injuries. The deceased include 1 man from Mexico and 4 men from Guatemala.
After the break, find out about a UA microfinance group.
Hi, it's David Hasselhoff, the Hawk. Get Hawk with UATV. Stay tuned. Don't change the dial.
People may tune out someone they see on a median trying to sell newspapers.
Those extra few hours of having to swipe your CAT card to get in at night might be keeping non-U of A students out of the library.
And while some are traveling to Mexico for cheaper gas, others are forced to pay those high prices at the pump.
Students and parents are always invited to come cheer on the Wildcats.
We'll see you back here next week for another edition of Wildcast.
A microfinance group at the UA is trying to provide low-income families across the globe with financial support. The group organizes campus events that educate the student body and community about poverty. Wildcast reporter Desiree Valenzuela has the story.
At the University of Arizona, there is a group called Loans Across Borders. This group focuses on microfinance as well as poverty around the world. In an interview with the group's president, Sheetal Singh, she states the overall goals of the group.
Basically, our mission is to try and raise awareness about microfinance throughout campus and the community. And microfinance is providing financial services to low-income individuals around the world. So we want to raise awareness about that.
There is an event called Live Below the Line. This event spreads awareness of how little people in poverty can spend on food and utilities. The challenge of Live Below the Line is for students to only spend $1.50 on food each day for a period of 5 days. Seeing that groceries are very expensive, it is difficult to find foods that are less than $1.50. Students who accept this challenge will be able to realize how difficult it is to live in poverty. Through the group's multiple charity events, they are able to help those struggling with poverty by sending any donations they receive to MILAP. MILAP is another organization that helps countries in poverty. Loans Across Borders decided to show a documentary on campus on the 25th of April. The group believes that this documentary will make students more aware of poverty and the overall goals of the group. The documentary will explain what the group does and will discuss students' experiences with Live Below the Line. The group is still seeking more members, mainly those in the business major.
Right now is kind of focusing on business students and pre-business students, primarily because that's kind of the focus of our club is the microfinance. So we have a lot of people from within the finance department and other majors around Eller, and we have a couple pre-business majors that we have on our executive board right now.
For students interested in this group, don't hesitate to watch the documentary on Thursday the 25th in order to help support countries in poverty. Reporting from Wildcast, I'm Desiree Valenzuela.
Now it's time for sports. The Arizona Wildcats baseball team dropped 2 of 3 from the Stanford Cardinal in Palo Alto over the weekend. The Wildcats won Saturday's game on a 9th-inning home run from Brandon Dixon. The Wildcats are back in action on Friday with the series against Alabama State. First pitch is set for 6 p.m. from High Corbett Field. The softball team also dropped 2 of 3 games over the weekend against the UCLA Bruins. The Wildcats won Friday's game on a walk-off home run by Hallie Wilson. They now head to Corvallis for a 3-game series against Oregon State that will begin on Friday.
Well, that will do it for us tonight on Wildcast. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, you can watch us online at uatv.arizona.edu or on our YouTube channel, UATV-CH3.
If you haven't already, be sure to like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Janice and Carolan for on-campus news updates and events.
We'll see you next week for the final spring edition of Wildcast.